Hey, 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 Karl Bryan coming at ya. Welcome to my YouTube. This is my first video on my YouTube channel. This is what I'm doing. Riding my mountain bike on the beach. And try to do every day. If you want to hear a good one, goal number one for this YouTube channel and videoing this is to not drop my phone. What do you think happened? 1 second into this, I dropped my phone. So there is sand in the mic right now, so hopefully you can hear me all right. But anyway, so unedited, unscripted, you're on the beach with me. So I don't know. I'm just gonna ramble and see what comes out. Building a 7-figure coaching company. What do you got to do? Can you do it? Is it possible? Well, the answer is yes. Highly improbable. Good news, you don't need hitting $1 million. You know, one of the main reasons of doing business coaching is your margins are huge, right? Like 70%. So, you know, why do you, there's a cool boat, by the way. Why do you need, like, don't get all obsessed with hitting 7 figures. Build yourself like a really profitable business coaching company. And, you know, you got 70, 80% margins. You just don't need to hit 7 figures. Here's some friends. Hi, guys. There you go. YouTube. Their daughter goes to my school, or her daughter goes to my, actually, her son goes to my daughter's school. So, you know, building a really profitable business. But now if you want to do it, you want to hit 7 figures, here's what you got to do. I do some serious waves. You got to break your company down into 3 categories. Lead generation, conversion, and then fulfillment. Now, when most people think of building a 7-figure coaching company, really crushing it, they think lead gen. That's a mistake. I promise you, lead generation is 100 times easier than you're making it. It's just not that complicated. I mean, there's an art to it, and science to it, maybe. More science than art in a lot of ways. Bottom line is that it's fulfillment. What will stop you from hitting 7 figures? It's the fulfillment. I often say you introduce me to a business coach with a lack of leads. I'll introduce you to a business coach with a lack of confidence. Right? So one of the things that we do is first order of business for a new coach is, you know, write down 50 ways that you're going to help a specific business owner. You know, a butcher, baker, candlestick maker. Come up with a niche, maybe landscaper, and write down 50 ways that you would help them. And I tell you, you'll suddenly be very enthusiastic to get in front of a landscaper, because you'll be like, oh my gosh, if they do like 3 to 5 of these 50 things, they're going to make a bundle. And my fees, say your fees are $2,000 a month, 24 grand a year, you're going to know that they're going to crush that. That's some waves pounding into my wheels. It's my new bike, by the way, Mongoose. I used to race BMX as a kid. I was a factory Kuwahara guy. That was kind of my thing. Always wanted to own a PK Ripper. Jeez. Anyway, so I'm on my Mongoose mountain bike. So there you go. But fulfillment, that's what's going to stop you from hitting 7 figures. So get really good at helping people, and then you're going to be really enthusiastic about going to the accountant, the promotional company, the networking organization, all those sorts of folks, to say, look, put me in front of a landscaper and I'm going to change their existence. This is the way that we're going to do it. I'm actually in the process of building a new lead gen process. We actually meet as an internal team here in like about 45 minutes from now, and we're going to flesh it out and what it looks like. But that's the kind of stuff we're working on. But bottom line, you want to hit 7 figures, can you? The answer is yes. Will you? The answer is probably no. But the good news is you don't need to get there, because he had 20 clients at $2,000 a month. That's 480 grand a year. At 70-80% margins. You'd have a killer lifestyle. You do stuff like this, cruise along the beach, ride your mongoose. Sponsored by Mongoose today, folks. Ride your mongoose bike along the beach and coach clients, and maybe create a video like this for landscapers. But anyway, so that's a thought. Get really good at fulfillment over lead gen. Think of lead gen a lot of ways for a business coach is about enthusiasm and passion. I wrote an email not long ago about, it's pretty popular, got a lot of feedback. It's about non-binary. I kind of make it a joke about the non-binary, Demi Lovato and her buds. Want to be like there and whatever, right? All good. God bless them all, right? But what I was about, non-binary is like passion. Passion is non-binary. It's not, are you passionate, are you not passionate? It's what level of passion do you have, right? Do you believe in your coaching or do you not believe in your coaching? It's not a binary. It's what level of belief do you have in your ability to coach? It's what do you hear all the time? My client never does anything, right? And it's like what's your ability to influence? It's not a, yes or no thing. It's a what level are you at in terms of being able to motivate your coaching client? Which, by the way, we come back to the last one, of your belief and your abilities, right? The truth is that most coaches are scared of yes more than they are scared of no. Those that haven't really cracked it yet. That's a reality. So something to think about there. What's another one? Like your clients will brag. Like everybody hates advertising until they need to sell their own car. Okay, so here's like a separate thought. Look, you'll meet a business owner and they brag and they say, I've never spent $1 on marketing or advertising. And they're like bragging about it. Like this is some sort of trophy they should put on their wall. Well, imagine like if they built their company to X, let's just say they got to 2.5 million gross revenues. And if they could get to 2.5 on word of mouth and referrals and not marketing, imagine what they could do if they started to advertise. Because what they'd be doing is pouring gasoline on the lead gen or on the referrals and the word of mouth, right? Like word of mouth and referrals is a byproduct of how many people you have promoting you. Like this month, through a bit of an internal growth loop, like we'll bring on 50 clients this month with just basically our internal, it's like without going into it, but it's like a referral program on steroids, right? So thinking about that, your client not advertising isn't some trophy. I dare say it's borderline ridiculous, but they're scared. Like, why don't they do it? They're scared. They don't want to go light a bunch of money on fire, and they don't understand advertising. Well, it's just not that hard. You need a really good headline, grabs attention. You need a really good sub-headline. You need some educational type content, and then you need an offer. And you know what? I got a saying, screw it up and see what happens. Run a really, really bad ad. And then a slight improvement. Don't go spend 30 grand on the ad. It's like they're doing they're doing whatever they're doing, like spend 1,000 on an ad. Do like classifieds, Craigslist, that sort of stuff until you can work it out. Do it like, and there's social, one of the things, a little hack, do it on your social media profile. Get them to do it on their social media profile, because if it doesn't work organically, I'm about to do a turn. Watch this, folks. By the way, this is my local bar. That bar is yellow, and can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. That is a cool place to go have a couple pops with your buds on a Thursday afternoon or maybe a Friday afternoon. I'll hit that joint. So what was I saying? Advertising, like just do it on a small scale, right? It'll work. I like my hat. I wear this hat so that I don't fry my face. Pretty obvious. But you gotta protect this. If you look like this, you'd want to protect it too, I bet. Hey? Look at that nose. Can you tell my dad makes a joke about my fighting, and he says, somebody mentioned something. He says, oh no, Karl thought he said stand up. You get it, right? The guy actually said shut up. But my dad says that I thought he said stand up. It didn't work out so well. But so, anywho, so advertising, it's an art form. It's also science. Good news there is, the science of it can be well listened. Like part of the science is that if you don't do it, I guarantee the results will be zero. What's my next thought? I got a saying, you can get lucky and make it, you can't get lucky and keep it. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. But again, remember, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. Maybe actually had a bit of a Facebook, I don't do this too often, but had a bit of a Facebook back and forth with what I would call an influencer. We're just talking about like people hitting 7 figures and hitting 8 figures, and then him saying, you know what, really, show me their profits, and then I'll show you how they're doing, which is, I would say, correct, right? But what I would say is there's revenue, and then there's profits, and then there's cash, okay? Cash. Less than 10% of business owners will have a cash flow statement, and that's something they should be thinking about. Profits, if you have an accounts receivable problem, your client will look really profitable, you'll look really profitable, and it's not going to be so exciting when you look at your bank account at the end of the month. So cash, you can get lucky and make it, you can't get lucky and keep it. What's another one? What can I hit you? I hit you with non-binary. I'm about to get attacked by this dog that we're coming up. He loves to. I'm gonna have to grab him. He likes to come and bite my tires. Can you see the dog? That's the dog. So anyway, next one I'm gonna talk about. Hey guys. Next one we're gonna talk about is what? Let me do this. I'll finish off with a Tony Robbins dealio here. Pretty cool. Hopefully, I don't know if that green is going to come off, and hopefully the volume here is good. The volume is, but hopefully you guys can hear me. So Tony Robbins, so if you were to take a 50-hour Tony Robbins presentation and break it down into 3 words, which quite frankly is not a bad thing to do, because you just take, it's 80, 20, 150. What does Tony Robbins teach? There's basically, could you become, and by the way, I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan. If you follow me, you know that, but I'd also like to think I've got my own methodologies after close to 20 years of doing this, and we well and truly have. We built software that'll find any business owner $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending $1 on marketing or advertising, and it's pretty prolific, quite frankly. 197 million weighted algorithmic sequences. But that being said, you'd be crazy not to go to the people who have been there, done that, accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish, and allow them to guide you a little bit, which frankly, that's what we do for business coaches. We probably have 1,150 live this month and 49 countries. So that being said, Tony Robbins, though, I think there's value in being able to say, okay, what does Tony Robbins do? what's his thing? So 3 words: focus, meaning, do. And then there's another 3 that are state, story, strategy. So really quick, what are you going to focus on? What's the meaning you attach? What are you going to do? You see Tony Robbins talk. You're going to see him do he's going to talk about when he was 11 years old. There was a knock on the door. There was a guy, it was Thanksgiving, and there's a big man there. He gave food, right? And little Tony Robbins, 11 years old, he said, what did he focus on? Wow, there's food. What's the meaning? Strangers care. What's he going to do? He's ended up feeding, millions and millions of disadvantaged children, right? And then you go to do, and I talk about this when we do our annual event in Cancun. I got multiple signs in the room, but 2 of them are always focus, meaning, do. And then the next 3 words, which are state, story, strategy. So in any situation, what are you going to focus on? Sorry. His dad focused on, this is charity. What's the meaning? I'm a loser. What am I going to do? He left his family, and that's what he did. And Tony Robbins never saw him again. And that's as I understand it, I'm pretty sure I'm right here, but that's the dad that his last name Robbins was this guy's, right? So this was a very meaningful person. This wasn't some, short-term dad. Anyway, so now we go to do. So then you're like, okay, I like that. I want to hit 7 figures. I want to stop smoking. I want to lose weight. I want to build a 7-figure coaching company. I want to become the best business coach in my city, in my state, in the country. Really importantly, I want to become the best business coach I can be, which, by the way, that's a great goal for you. Become the best you can be. Don't be Tony Robbins. Don't be Jay Abraham. Don't be me. Definitely don't do that. Don't whatever, right? So be the best you can be. So then, okay, Karl, go deeper on the do for me. How do you do that? State, story, strategy, okay? So when somebody wants to lose weight, this is the example that Tony would give you, and he has many times, right? You want to lose weight, what do? You go to the internet, they go on a diet, Jenny Craig, keto, whatever. You take 3 minutes and go find yourself a diet, and I guarantee you'll not only you find a diet, you'll find a crazy good diet that will absolutely work, right? Okay, well, then why is everybody overweight? Why don't the diets work? Or somebody wants to stop smoking, why can't they just stop smoking, right? Somebody wants to stop, drinking, why can't they just stop drinking? And the answer is the story. My parents were big bone, my dad was big bone. I've always been overweight since I was a kid, right? That's the story. And then, so that's killing them. So it doesn't matter how good the strategy is. If the story owns you, the story owns you, okay? And then there's the last one, which is state. And that is from a place of hunger. From a place of, I'm doing this. From a place of, you've got lung cancer and it's time to stop smoking. It's the state, right? Somebody smoked for 25 years and couldn't quit, 30 years, 40 years, 3 packs a day, 2 packs a day, a pack a day. Just can't stop, right? And then magically they get lung cancer and it's not quite as important to them, right? They look into their daughters, they look into their sons, they look into their grandkids' eyes, look into their own eyes, they look into the mirror, look into their parents' eyes, and magically they stop, right? Well, it's state. And it's like from a place of hunger, from a place of determination, from a place of belief, from a place of, I'm not going to do my best, I'm going to do what it takes. Remember, your best isn't good enough. I often say that. You got to do what it takes, right? You can do it. But it's the state. What they don't tell you in the diet, don't train you on, is how to manage your state, right? So what I say, and this is my own interpretation of it, I believe, but I want you to think 94%. I want you to think 94% state. I want you to think 4% story, And then I want you to think 1% strategy, okay? So somebody wants to lose weight and then they go on keto and then wonder why it doesn't work. And the reason is that it's 1% of the equation, and it's normally the only part of the equation. They don't, look after the story and change that. Like, I got this, I need this. And they don't look at, their state of mind in any one moment. And that state of hunger. Again, I often say, what separates Serena Williams, Roger Federer, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Martina Navratilova, Michael Schumacher. What separates them, Tom Brady, my boy, Road Dog would be happy that I got Tom Brady in. But what separates them? And it's hunger, right? Tom Brady was like whatever he was. Was he I don't know, he was like 5th round, 8th round pick. And look what he's gone on to do, right? It's not ability, it's belief, it's story, it's determination. Frankly, it's also consistency should be in there somewhere, but that's kind of littered over top. But the bottom line, what I want to impress upon you, you want to hit 7 figures is how I started this whole thing. You want to hit 6 figures. You want to hit multiple 6 figures. You want to look after your family. You want to make your business coaching business work so that you can legitimately have the lifestyle that you're looking for. That was what Tony Robbins would define as a breakthrough, and I'd agree with him, right? Well, state, story, strategy. But you gotta start with state. Remember that non-binary kind of thing, right? Like, it's not a matter of are you hungry or are you not? It's what level of hunger do you have? How badly do you want it? And that's why I know if somebody tells me they won't cold call, I don't like their chances. And it's not that you have to cold call. Like, you can cold call and you can not cold call. You can still crush it. But it's the story of I don't cold call. Because who is that about? And I'll tell you, it's not the client, it's not the business owner, it's not the guy in the fetal position, the gal in the fetal position, the business that's struggling and hurting. That is you. And this comes from a selfish place. And that is not the place that you want to be building a successful company from. You'll always do more for others than you do for yourself, right? So bottom line though, state, story, strategy. I get asked all the time, Karl, is it legit? Like, can you hit set? I know you've hit 7 figures and, and well, truly that. But, I know you've done it, but like, is that an anomaly? Can somebody do it? Somebody starting out? And the answer is absolutely. But it's going to be hard. But without that state, story, strategy, it's like, the ebb and flow. Actually, I said this on my podcast recently. It's like people get frustrated, like they go up and then they come down and then they go up and they come down and they go up and they come down and they get really frustrated with the coming down. I'm like, it's a universal bloody principle, right? Like Tony Robbins ebbs and flows, Marcus Lemonis ebbs and flows. I absolutely ebb and flow. Bill Gates ebbs and flows. Zuckerberg ebbs and flows, both in motivation and in like a little bit of fear, we'll call it, right? Of what to do next. You guys don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers. I certainly don't have all the answers. So anyway, state, story, strategy. Your state is 95%. Story is 4%. Strategy is 1%. But importantly, the 1% drives the 99. So without a good strategy, you're hooped, right? It's not going to work. I don't care. You're running in the wrong direction, looking for a sunset. Again, that's a Tony Robbins thing. You're not going to get very far, right? So you gotta, you motivate an idiot. They do stupid things quicker, right? So I always say, like coaching a coach, like International Coaching Federation and these types. It's like, oh, your client already knows what they need to know. You just need to draw it out of them, right? Now, I got a better saying is you motivate an idiot. They do stupid things quicker, right? Left to their own devices, the average business owner will lower their prices. They will add products and services. Quite frankly, they'll do pretty much, they'll do the opposite of Apple. If you think that Apple's a good, remember standing on the shoulder of giants, if you think Apple's not a bad company to follow, they don't lower their prices. They do the opposite. Show me once that, oh my God, Oh, good to get run over here. Holy shit. Oh, buddy, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to swear on this thing. Look at this. This guy nearly smoked me. But that's okay. Pretty good driver. Look at that. Right in front of me. He managed to get in between that and that. Pretty good drive in there. Shoots. All right. Oh, Lordy, what was I saying? I forget. The guy threw me off. I'm on my jaunt home now. Had to get off the beach. There we go. I got a meeting to be at here at some stage pretty soon. Hopefully I'm not late. What was I saying? I can't remember. You motivate an idiot, they do stupid things quicker, right? Like they'll go like Apple, they'll go in the opposite direction. You know, they'll lower their prices and then add products and services when left to their own devices. And you might have been guilty of that. I tell you, I have had the same offer for 17 years. Dead set. Haven't changed it. The same offer. And of course, we've added software and we've added, we turn you into an offer within 30 days, right? Our guys are authors. Other people are charging, big bickies for that. We're just doing it for them. It's bundled in. We got, the software was built, the process. We train people on how to find them $100,000 in 45 minutes without spending $1 on marketing or advertising. Look, I didn't have that 17 years ago, but I've just taken the wrong side of the road. I've just adjusted the offer, constantly, consistently, and made an added value. A lot of people sign up with us and they're like, honestly, this is what we hear. It's too good to be true. I hear it all the time. Too good to be true. And that's a good response from somebody who's about to start paying. We've also had hundreds of people with us for over 5 years. We've had people for 10. So this isn't about me. I don't want to. But I want you to feel comfortable. That's what we're doing, right? It's shiny light. So the business owners are adding products, adding services, lowering prices, and that would be the exact opposite of what Apple is doing. And I'll let you decide if that's a good idea. So the saying, you motivate an idiot, they do stupid things quicker. I believe if you go to my personal website, that's literally right there. I get a headline of the whole page. Because that's why. So it's like this whole coaching thing. Your client already knows what they need to know. You just need to draw it out of them, right? And I just argue with that vehemently. Because if that were to be the case, then why would 90% of businesses fail, right? So anyways, guys, I'm now on my trek home. Maybe you want to stop looking at my big nose. There you go. This is my road that I'm riding on my sponsored by Mongoose, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, Kuahara. And so that's all I got. I'm going to do some more of these videos, I'd imagine. I don't know how many. I don't know what I'm going to do, but this was number 1. I hope it was enjoyable. Probably a little bit rabbit hole-ish and ramble-ish, but hey, that's what you get when it's unscripted, unedited, uncensored. My thoughts. I nearly got run. Like I dropped my phone. First thing my wife said before I left the house: "Don't drop your phone." Drop my phone. Right? Like literally immediately dropped my phone. I got sand in the thing. I'll have to sort that out. Hopefully you can hear this. I don't even know if this is going to come off because I'm just glad the thing works. Good on app. Speaking of Apple, also brought to you by Apple. Very durable. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to do this video, and now the darn thing doesn't work. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do a few of these, and I hope it was enjoyable. I just kind of rambled on. Hope it provided some value. That's all I got for today. So on behalf of Mongoose, Apple, and Karl Bryan, littered in there is focused.com. That's all I got, folks. God bless you. See you on the next one.